Hi there, my name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. We have the singular honor of sitting with the Deputy General Secretary of the ruling NDC and as well the Deputy Director of Operations at the Presidency. I'm speaking of Mustapha Gbande, sir. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Grateful. How has work been this past 7 months?
Hectic, but interesting.
Interesting.
And extremely fulfilling.
Fulfilling?
Yes.
On the bit of interesting, what makes it interesting for you?
Well, the mixed feeling that comes with it, the fact that it's not an easy way to reconstruct and redevelop a country, particularly when you had it degenerated the way it has been. And you have the very people who have degenerated the situation claiming to be saints, and you have us who have been on the bottom now reconstructing. And it comes with a lot of mixed feeling, but it's fulfilling because I have seen a turnaround. I've seen an impact. I've seen effort. I've seen goodwill. I've seen commitment to resolving the problem of the ordinary Ghanaian. We are fighting poverty together. I see the NDC team, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is our boss, fighting unemployment, fighting corruption, fighting poverty head on. And for me, that is very fulfilling, and it resonates with the discussions that we have had in the villages, in the towns, with the people of Ghana prior to election.
We have seen the first 100 days of President John Dramani Mahama. We have also seen the first 6 months culminating into the mid-year budget review that was presented by Dr. Kasila Tuba-Force. A number of progress you mentioned has been achieved by this government. As you rightly mentioned, the minority disagrees with you on so many fronts. What would you call their disagreements largely, if I were to ask you to put it in just a phrase?
They have always agreed, but Ghanaians don't take them serious. I do not think that we currently have a responsible opposition that is willing to constructively help, right the wrongs that may occur within government. I see people who are not taking responsibility to their evil or what they've done wrong against this country. And there's a principle or maxim that says whoever calls for equity must come with clean hands. They don't have clean hands. And so we ourselves are using the authority, the power that Ghanaians have given us to do the bidding of Ghanaians. Even when God's people have met, the devil was present. So they would criticize, they would distract, they would try to make noise. But the question is, what is the ordinary Ghanaian seeing? The NDC would take corrections from the ordinary Ghanaian. The NDC would take criticisms from the ordinary Ghanaian who voted us into power. But we don't take anything from the minority into consideration because they are not worth the equity that should bring them to the table of discussion.
You've raised a number of concerns for which many Ghanaians also agree with in terms of, Galamsey, saying the fights, a lot of what they describe as noise when you were in opposition, now you're in government. You're saying you are putting cosmetic work. There's no active involvement of government in solving Galamsey. When you hear things like that, how do you feel?
I think basically we are fighting the Galamsey manners head on. And again, these are people who have created a problem. And so in the last 8 months, in the last 8 years, the damage, the devastation, angels did not come to clean up that mess. The mess is still there. We have come to meet the mess. No government can stop mining per se in Ghana. It's not possible. You will run yourself into serious social security crisis, threats of terrorism and all of that. Because Galamsey is the bottom line, an industry of mining where government should be able to regularize it. Government should be able to get things, people to do the right thing. No matter what it takes, we have to do the right thing. And so the approach have been what keeps going and coming and all of that. But by and large, I think that in the last 8 months, I've seen ministers come together to unleash a force against the devastation, particularly in river bodies and forest reserves. The president has currently suspended what permits people to undertake mining in the forest reserve, even though it is not wrong to mine in the forest reserves, but there are protocols that must be followed. What you should be asking the minority is that, did their lands minister, did President Akufo-Addo ensure that the protocol that one has to follow in order to mine in the forest reserve were followed? They were never followed. You would have to be given a permission to mine in the forest reserve. And it comes with a policy of reforestation. It also comes with a responsibility to reclaim. And so the forest that you are depleting is assumed that you are going to renew that forest. They did nothing of this sort. They released these forests to Galamsey, to Chinese people, largely, and they have mined without reclaiming. I have always held a view that let us take investigators into every constituency to arrest, to investigate, arrest, and prosecute persons who have been responsible for the devastation. So if you have mined in a forest reserve in the last 8 years and you have not reclaimed, we know you. The community people know the people. Let's arrest these people. Let's put them before court. Largely get them to go and repair. We'll be heading somewhere. Let's go into the communities. If you were given a piece of land to undertake small-scale mining and you have not done the right thing, let's get the Environment Ministry to arrest such persons in accordance with the environmental law, get them to go and repair the damage, or they go to jail. When we do that, there will be nothing called Galamsey. Galamsey is simply illegal mining. Illegal mining because somebody who is given a permission to go and mine is not adhering to the law. And so I have always advocated for that. I have not been one who believed that seizing the excavators will largely lead to people not mining. People would still have to mine. The NDC have set out gold board. And gold board is supposed to be getting legitimate gold from miners, which presuppose that there has to be mass regularization of small-scale mining, ensuring that there's compliance in terms of mining. Now, President Mahama has made it very clear that if you mine in a water body or in a forest reserve, that you are an environmental terrorist. Let me borrow the words of my brother Eduji Tamaklo, that no one should venture into water bodies and forest reserves. Beyond that, there are types of mining that doesn't affect the water bodies and the forest reserve. So when these people sit down and they brought what they call it community mining, and their understanding of community mining is to allow ministers and deputy ministers to hijack the whole mining for themselves. And if you go and investigate in the communities, most of the sites were owned by their ministers. And I've said that if the NPP want to dare me, they should come. And let us go to the field. Let me show them their sites. Ministers of states who were engaged in mining.
Is the NDC going to take any action against these ministers?
I have always advocated for the fact that the Interior Minister, the Minister for Environment, the Minister for Attorney General should put a system together where if you have destroyed a water body, if you have mined in the forest without reclaiming, even if you have mined in the ordinary small-scale area without having to adhere to protocols, you should be arrested for the devastation. You should be compelled by law to go and reclaim and to repair where you have damaged. That is how to govern and rule people. It's not all rosy, where everybody does what they want because we are in a democracy. The devastations are so much that we have to collectively fight. So when they are sitting in parliament and they are the very agents of this destruction and they think Ghanaians were sleeping in the last 8 years? Do they think Ghanaians did not know that President Akufo-Addo incentivized illegal mining, no control? Their lands minister didn't have any plan. Were you not here when they brought up a scheme of Green Ghana? They said we should go and plant trees. Let them show where they planted the trees in the last 8 years. So you see, politics should be aligned to common sense, reality, and the fear of God. And I don't think my brothers have it. Because they are not honest, for all intents and purposes, to be truthful with the people of Ghana. And that's the problem.
What do you see when environmentalists come up with a suggestion that the NDC's position has always been to repeal this legal instrument, the LI 2462, which gives way for mining in forest reserves. The indication has always been that when you come into power, it will be done with.
I think that largely there is nowhere in the world where mining in the forest reserve is a crime per se. Like I said, it is a conscious policy to mine and repair in order to reafforestate. So the problem is that we didn't have any of these things happening in the past. When you go to other places, Tanzania, when you go to Sierra Leone, they also mine in their forest reserve and other places. But the indiscipline in our country is so much as compared to other places where you would have the boldness to go into a forest reserve, mine, pack your tools, make the money and leave. You know, that is what we are fighting. We are not saying that people should not mine. We are saying that adhere to the protocol. So if you have a government reducing the influx of mining in the forest reserve without control, right, as compared to the one who made it wholesale, all you need is a presidential or a ministerial permission. Go in there and mine, take your tools and leave. That is the legacy of President Akufo-Addo as far as mining is concerned. And President Mahama, who has launched or unleashed a full force against what is illegal as far as mining is concerned. We are not saying that the fight has been perfect and to the best of what Ghanaians expect, but we start from somewhere. We're just 8 months in power. So much has been done. And I think that by the time the president ends his first term, we would have gotten somewhere and would have a story to tell. The difference between the NPP, led by Nana Akufo-Addo, president, and the NDC led by President John Dramani Mahama. So it's just a matter of time. All of these will crystallize.
By demonstrating a firm hand against illegal mining, it's the president making an example of his own people by referring the issue concerning the NDC executives who largely have been accused of being engaged in some form of illegal mining.
I think that I have spoken vehemently about this matter. You know my relationship with the national organizer of the party.
Yeah.
And on no occasion will I sacrifice him for anything. It doesn't matter how much it cost me. And I have said that that whole episode of publicizing names and mentioning people is a conversation for another day. But Yamin is not engaged in illegal mining. He has never been engaged in illegal mining. It's possible somebody have lied and the truth, you know, so because everybody is aware and very conscious about illegal mining and the whole nation is not for it, let's align him to illegal mining and take some, I mean, that's basically what happened. I mean, and no Ghanaian fell for it. Even you, the journalist, you were shocked. That, I mean, how, Yamin? Now, he is a national organizer of the party. If he wants to mine, I think that he's more placed to be able to engage the Minister for Lands and legally be given a place to go and mine. Why would he engage in what is illegal when we went to the grassroots to campaign against illegal mining? So I can tell you for a fact that Yamin is not on any day involved in illegal mining. Me, I don't engage in mining. That is all I can say about that. But it's a conversation he who alleges must prove. So we wait to see how that story unfolds. It's not as if we are kids who don't know what facts are. So we will leave that for another day and we'll have this conversation. You've known me, I've always been very honest about my opinions and what I express. And I know that the Yamin is not engaged in any form of illegal mining. I'll be shocked. But as far as I'm concerned, I can stand on authority and put my job and everything on the line to tell you that he's not engaged in it. Even the NPP themselves don't believe that story. They should have been running away and running around with it. They don't believe that story. So go and ask the people who published it to give you more evidence.
Speaking of the Mahama government, 7 months, a lot of promises. If I were to ask you to score him, how would you score him?
It's not about a score. It's about a good leader. A good leader may have difficulties. A bad leader is one who have appetite to destroy, and that was President Akufo-Addo and the NPP. President Mahama is conscious of the fact that I want to see the right thing being done. I will suffocate my own government appointees for us to please the people of Ghana. That poverty is a common crisis that confronts all of us. So let's fight poverty. Let's make sure that what we have is prepared. The national cake is focusing on elevating the people on the ground as compared to elevating few rich people. So if you check, the people who are complaining these days are rich people. Because there's a huge cut on their leverages and their benefits. The appetizing that they are used to under President Akufo-Addo, the freebies, they don't get it anymore. Because under President Mahama, you will not get a contract that is inflated 50%, 150%. You saw that under President Akufo-Addo. President Mahama is holding an iron hammer on every appointee, looking for the opportunity to hit a head that makes it, becomes available. So you have vehicles to work. You have to depend on your salary to buy fuel. You are sitting in the office. DSTV used to be something that people enjoy. He says, you don't have it. He comes, we used to talk about responsible governance. He says, no, I'm going to actually consciously put a government policy to ensure that the whole nation is aware of a policy. So that when you are doing something as an appointee in the dark, and the public become aware, they will align you to the policy and see if your behavior is responsible. The Chief of Staff issues a memo to regulate travel of appointees. You can't travel anyhow, and says that even when you are traveling on your own expense, you must go through protocols. You have appointees under President Akufo-Addo, like the MPA boss, Egbert Phil. Go and check his travel record. Every week and every other month, they were outside the country. And a lot of them. This government is not giving you that. Now, the impacts have not yet manifested fully on the ground. I mean, the communities, because this is just a 7 or 8 months old government. Largely, at some years and some government, this is a formative stage. If we have done this, I should be proud of him as a president. I should be proud that he has not prioritized himself, his small family, or what makes him comfortable. I have seen President Mahama from the day he was sworn in as president, not going on break. And a man who is hardworking should be applauded, should be supported to succeed. I can't rate him, but I'm very happy that the evil that we saw in the last 8 years, which was incentivized by a league of old men, President Akufo-Addo harnessed all the old men, his classmates in the NPP who are going on retirement, and they fleeced this country, destroyed this country. There's no industry they left. They chopped and chopped everywhere. Okay, and they got business people, some business people, to support this kind of disservice against our own people. President Mahama is fighting it. You see the things you see because somebody is fighting them. In the past, you won't see it. It passes under the table. Appointees are involved in corruption, the president clears them. So President Mahama has largely been a savior. At the time, everybody was hopeless about governance in this country. Suddenly, there is some hope, and we see it coming up. And you cannot say that you are comparing an 8-year-old government to a 7 months government. That is why the NPP keep confusing me, because I don't know what comes in their mind when they are comparing a formative government to an expired government. So I'm very happy.
They maintain you overly promised. You overly promise and you are not sticking to your words.
Promises are not the issues. Every politician will give a promise. All right? But a child that will prosper, you see it when the child is crawling. We all know that Nana Addo's government was a national fraud in capital letters, red ink. We've experienced it, we've lived it. Didn't he give promises? We all know President Mahama made promises. Are we achieving some of the promises? We've talked about a lot of things that we'll do. Is he achieving it? 8 years, 8 months government. Look at the track record. Look at what we have done. A government that is indifferent from its people. A government that mingles with its people. What promises is it not fulfilling? Cocoa sector, we said we will increase it. What we tried to do first was to ease the burden of Ghanaian that was tied to exchange rate. Where you and I was buying dollar at 17 cedis to 18 cedis. Today, I'm told it's even below 10.
Yeah, per the Bank of Ghana data.
Yeah, below 10 means that.
It's 10.5.
Yeah, of course. But today, if somebody is giving you dollar, you don't even value it. You want your CD. So that is a generic disburdenment. It has been done, whether it was spiritual, it was scientific. Today, we don't have the same story of what we had before. It is for greedy, unrepentant business people to allow prices to reflect the reality. But again, there are people who go and import goods, and they still peg us to the old prices that we used to experience. So cocoa sector, because the value of the dollar have come down, we have now increased from 3,100 to 5,040 cents, right? So internationally, you will see the increment. It's over $2,000. Yes. But because prices, the dollar have depreciated, it has reflected in the reduction of the real value of how much has been added. The NPP people are making noise, as if they've not sat in classroom. Kojo Opon Nkrumah is talking about economy today. Where was he when everything was messed up? Kojo Opon Nkrumah wants us to believe that he understands economy. But he was the Minister of Information. He was a cabinet minister. Where was this knowledge when they had 8 years? He's been a minister from day one to the expiration of the government. What can they understand that the economy they left in 2024 December is not the same economy today? That used to buy dollar at
16, 14.
No. You can't say that. 17, 18. Today you are buying at 10 and 10.5. Is it the same? Now we have to go. You heard the finance minister say that the farmers who suffered to build this, to get this cocoa, to get into this cocoa farming, all their children should be on scholarship.
The NPP says there's a policy proposal that they are suggested.
Insane, greedy people. When you go to the places NPP get their votes, that is where the cocoa farmers are. Didn't they know that you could institute scholarship for farmers? Nana Addo is an Akan, and I've always said it. President Mahama is not an Akan. He's not familiar with cocoa. Nana Addo was actually born under cocoa. He collapsed the industry, largely because of the appetite to steal. Go and check Cocoa Board. Apenyo Markins, minority leader, that was his business center. Go and check. Contract inflations. Go and check. So when you have the same people talking, you can largely question where they get their judgment from, whether it's sound or unsound. At least I do know that if I go into cocoa today to go and farm, my children will go to school on scholarship. I do also know that there's a price increment. But whether or not the price is the same as what happened before, it's a different matter because we are devaluing the stress that came on our economy. The dollar have depreciated, the CD have appreciated, so anything in dollar will largely come down, right? So what don't they understand? Let them go and ask the farmers to assess them that under President Akufo-Addo, they imported Chinese chemicals and gave to the farmers that couldn't give them any yields. If for anything, President Mahama reverts back to his free seedlings, followed by scholarship, ensuring that there's quality chemicals for them to get a higher yield, the people will be happy. We'll be fighting poverty together. Dealing with governance is not about standing on TV cameras and making noise. It's about common sense, it's about thinking outside the box. And for all that I know, the NDC government have proven to have been doing thinking outside the box than all these title holders of President Akufo-Addo in the last 8 years.
Outside the box thinking, we are seeing, as you say, massive gains when it comes to our foreign cedi to the dollar, cedi to the British pound, and other things. We have seen some over 40% appreciation year to date. But it's not translating into people's pockets. As a government, and for someone who is not the business person, largely from the address of the Communications Minister even, he says even the business people are seeing it as a fluke. He mentioned DSTV saying that, although they've denied, he mentioned them describing the whole appreciation as a fluke, because largely this is not something we have seen before in the past, and also it is not as well something that is translating directly into the pockets of the Ghanaian people.
Well, DSTV, they are fighting with some judge. We will leave them to continue, because truly everybody in Ghana reflects the understanding that we are paying undeserving prices for our DSTV, largely because the dollar cedi has changed, right? So it must reflect. So that's one of the fight. Two, if we blame politicians in the last 8 years for the problem of the dollar getting to 18 cedis, and the dollar is not 10 cedis, we cannot blame politicians anymore. Let's go to the business market. There are people who are doing NPP, NDC there, who are claiming that because it is not their government, they will not reduce prices. What is Guta doing? What is TEU doing? Why are they not ensuring that the change in the currency, the rates, reflects on the ordinary market? When I can tell you that soya beans prices have dropped, maize prices have dropped, when I can tell you that prices of rice, bag of rice, have dropped, oil prices have dropped, why is it not reflecting in the other market? Why do we go to Lebanese, Chinese restaurants and we are still paying the same amount for food, the same as what we used to pay in the last 9 months?
Oh, for some businesses, they have tried to slash it down. Some have still maintained the same
Why
prices.
are they maintaining them? So this is why government will be going after those people who are in that business, because they should allow the people on the ground to experience the blessing that has happened at the top.
But they imported their goods at, say, 14
When
cedis.
dollar was going high, if you had 100,000, by the time you realize it was $5,000 or so, almost $6,000 was equivalent to close to 100,000. Did we ask permission from the poor people? Why should we ask permission from business people to reduce their prices? It's a win-win situation. Somebody will gain at a certain point, somebody will lose at a certain point. Why should always the Ghanaian, ordinary Ghanaian, be hard-pressed and shortchanged? When somebody had 100 cedis and dollar has moved from 12 cedis to 17 cedis, the person borne the price, the brunt of it. If you were a teacher and your child was going to school, you pay the school fees in dollars. Did they ask permission from you? Today, we've managed to have a situation where the dollar rate has come down, and business people are waiting for Ghanaians to ask permission from them before they reduce their prices. Is it fair?
And that's why you go after them.
I think that the time is due.
How would you do it? What do you mean by you go after them?
I just feel that the grassroots, the people on the ground must feel the good thing that has happened to us. And we must force the business people to allow that to happen. Because President Mahama promised to protect the businesses. Why are business owners not protecting the ordinary Ghanaian? Because they are afraid of a loss. So the ordinary Ghanaian should not be afraid of hardship. Business people are afraid of a loss. The ordinary Ghanaian should always be hard-pressed. So I'm saying that whatever good has happened through Bank of Ghana to Ministry of Finance in terms of our economy, must reflect, it's not political, it's a discipline and character issue. It's greed issue.
How exactly will you tackle it?
Well, people are looking at over profit, excess profit. And that is a crime. You can't make double profit. Whatever the reality is, you experience it. It's not every day that it rains. And I'm saying that when it was the turn for the ordinary Ghanaians to suffer, they lived it. If it is now the case that let's turn the ball, let us go out there and help the ordinary farmer, the ordinary teacher. Government have done its part. Why are business people waiting?
Under the previous government, under the leadership of Ken Ofori-Atta, I've had a chance to ask him the same question about price control as a means to check inflation at a point. Is this something that you'd consider as a government?
Well, I think it's long overdue because some people basically want to make unreasonable profit out of the suffering of Ghanaians. Some people basically want to live lavishly when a lot of Ghanaians are suffering. And I know that even the people on the ground are happy that President Mahama has been able to put in this effort. But the question is, who is holding the manifestation of the impact? Business people. Okay? If you were buying a tea bag at $1 or at 100 cedi because the tea was imported into this country, and dollar is now moved from 18 cedis to 10.5, you should reduce the price of the tea bag.
The regime of price control in the past, as we have seen, involved the use of force, military, security personnel to ensure that people actually slash the price of goods.
I don't think that civilization we should get there. But if it's an option, I think that the Ghanaian people must not be put in the dark. Because you see, they voted massively for a change. That change has occurred. And that change should reflect in their life. You cannot call the problem a political one. The Minister of Finance, whether it was under President Akufo-Addo, whether it was under President Mahama, all we know is that the dollar has moved from 18 to 10.5. It is a gain for the ordinary Ghanaian and a reflection of reality in the business community, and they must allow that to happen. I have seen prices of iron rods drop. I think iron rods is now 7,000. And it used to be 9,000. So teachers will build, nurses will build. That was our promise. Journalists will build. Cement prices are dropping. Teachers will build. Journalists will build. Oil prices have dropped. So I want to see the one who is selling quarry dust, chippings. I want to see them reduce their prices. Because their cost of fuel in the last 8 years is not the same as today. So the ordinary man who is going to build a house should be able to say that, okay, under the new dispensation, prices of iron rods have dropped, cement prices have dropped. I'm seeing that in the local market, sand have dropped because oil prices have dropped. So the drivers have become real with the ordinary Ghanaian. That we have to get there. All of us must help the situation.
We'll speak about the drivers pretty shortly because they are hinting of increasing transport fares because of the levy, the 1 cedi levy. But speaking of discipline and ensuring that prices come down, we have seen a very volatile economy and in times past over the last 8 years, and we didn't see so much of an action to ensure some stability. It's because when market forces are at play, demand and supply, we allow them to interact and they determine the prices. Wouldn't the decision to come in affect how we have seen free market over the past 20 years or so?
That's why I'm saying that it's a problem when we try to block the indicators, the natural indicators. Because one would expect that since there is a change in the rates, it should reflect in the common market. That is the economy that we know. Why is it not reflect? So something is wrong. But use of force and all of it is another conversation for the entities that are responsible. But I am saying that the problem now is not political. Whether it is a flux, whether it's 9-day wonder, in the last 2 months, the dollar rate have been stable. Ghanaians have not experienced anything like that for 8 years. Whether it lasts for 6 months, it lasts for 7 days, it has been a record of performance. And let's celebrate that performance. You don't refuse to enjoy your new wife because there will be a divorce in future. Divorce may be imminent. Marriage sustenance may be imminent. But you have to enjoy your beautiful wife. When the difficulties come, you embrace the difficulties. So the reality now is that there have been some performance, and that performance should reflect in the life of the farmer, the life of the ordinary market woman, the life of the teacher, the nurse, the doctor, who believe that we are all not comfortable with what was happening in the last 8 years. We needed a new government. The government have come and have done its part. Assuming the value, the CD, the dollar was still going up, then we'll be talking about a different thing. It has come down. You have evidence that it has come down. Today, if you want to dash me any money, I prefer you give me in CDs and not in dollars, because the CD is valuable. I want to see the ordinary farmer also saying so, because he's going to buy a cutlass and the prices of cutlasses have come down. I see a farmer going to buy weedicide, and the prices of weedicides have come down because the dollar have depreciated and the CD have appreciated. And I'm happy the finance minister have announced that goods and services should not be priced in dollars in Ghana.
Yeah, even contracts as
so
well.
Hotels should be able to reduce their bills.
They speak of so many taxes.
Say that again?
They speak of so many taxes in the price build-up.
When they were running in the last 8 years, were they paying the taxes? The taxes have not been taken out. Still the same. But you must reduce to reflect the reality. So that is what where the conversation all of us should be asking the business people. Why are you holding the benefit of the people of Ghana?
I mean, in your own words, you mentioned that we are a civilized society now. So when it comes to decision of the security, should be taken by those responsible. So I want to believe that you are not so firm on the point that we should use the military or any other security service.
No, I don't think so. I largely believe that we have systems in place. There are organizations and entities, in-house organizations. The traders have, I believe that the leaders should be at the forefront. It is not just fair that a Ghanaian should continue to buy things at a high price when government is doing its part to make sure that we actually pay low for it.
Should we look at government legislation by way of fiscal authority?
I'm just saying, if we are resolved to do the right thing, let's have the conversation now, as we are doing. People should just get to the reality and decide to say that, look, it's not about the profits. It's also about the poor people. It's not about the ordinary Ghanaian. Let us do something to reflect the effort of the government. You may not like President Mahama's government. You may not like the NDC, but as far as I'm concerned, the NDC have done the magic. Atu Forsen and his team have done the magic. You may not like him. He hasn't been to Yale, but he has done the magic. Whichever way you see it, there's a performance and everybody is happy about it. I want to see it reflect on the ordinary Ghanaian. So business people must, Tewu, Guta, Trade Union, what do they call them?
Trade Union Congress.
Trade Union Congress. They must all come together so that we have a conversation with our people to reduce prices. It will be fair to the people of Ghana that the little gain that we have chalked as a nation, we have enjoyed it together. That is all I'm advocating for.
Let's talk about Akwitia. It's about a month away from now. But even before we get to Akwitia, Ablekuma North, the minority raised a lot of issues targeting you, some members of the party as well, for inciting violence at Ablekuma North. I know you've had the opportunity to say a number of things about it, but I want a response directly to me.
Apenyo Markins have always desired for my distraction because I hold him to the highest level of accountability. I believe he is corrupt. I believe I don't like his style of politics. I believe that he is destroying the hegemony of responsible leadership in Parliament, and he is not fit for purpose. I have always vehemently said so. So when it happened, it was an opportunity for him to draw me in. But fortunately, his own people have cleared me, you see. Now, what happened in Ablekuma North, nobody should celebrate it. But who should be the right person to talk about it? NPP. There haven't been any election NPP didn't attack any NDC person. Even in Kumawu, it was same. In this one, the Chikweson's place, Asin North, it was worse. They shot guns into vehicles and all of that. And so if this small thing has happened, they are running all over the place and threatening. We have condemned that action that took place. But NPP has no place to talk about this at all. They actually don't deserve to be talking about it. We've seen what they did to people in Ayawaso West. You know what it means? What that Ayawaso thing is? It wasn't NDC NPP thing. No. It was government-sponsored treachery on the civilians there.
Well,
they used military vehicle. They used military vehicle. They were armed by national security. They were monitored. They were supervised by senior police officers to beat civilians, including assaulting a member of parliament. And they are sitting there to talk about what? Nobody uses violence for equalization. Are they fit to talk about violence? Do you know what they've done to people? They shot at people and killed people. Techim and Saf, they are human beings. They are not Chinese or they are not Togolese. They are Ghanaians. They shot at people and killed them. In Wenchi, they did the same. Should those people want to retaliate, can the NPP work in this country? So I've always said that when we are looking for a yardstick of responsibility, the NPP currently doesn't come in the equation because they have been reckless, they have been very irresponsible in the last 8 years.
You mentioned Emmanuel Agyabeng is corrupt. Why are you so firm on that point?
I have, because I know he's corrupt.
Do you have evidence to prove that?
Because I know he's corrupt. I know that he's corrupt. Emmanuel Agyabeng is corrupt.
Would you give us the preview of
I want him to dare me one day and see. I want him to dare me one day. And those his friends he's fleecing with within NDC and they think that they can use them to... No, I'm not anybody torpedo. I say it as it is, without a fear. I take responsibility of my action. All right? And if that was why he mentioned my name that I'm corrupt, posterity will judge him. His own people, he lied. He should have actually resigned for, lying on me. Because you don't do that. To say that I was the one who instigated violence, they are looking for equalization. I'm the wrong candidate. I'm very intelligent in how I do my things. If he wants to compete with me, he should create the opportunity for us to demonstrate that.
You have an opportunity as a party to compete at Akwetia after your Ablikmanot win. The NPP is saying they are going to provide for their own security. Nanabi is on record to have said that. Well,
you are putting Nanabi in the conversation. I mean, leave him. I'm not going to respond to him. Nanabi, he is making noise because they think they will use us, Northerners, for their dirty work. He will be disappointed. He should go to Kumasi and bring their boys to come and do that. He should go to Kumasi and bring his own family people to come and do that. But nobody goes into election with their own security. So he does that, he will be stopped. And I have said to him that there will not be violence in Akwetia, but if any of the boys they have used to cause mayhem in 2020 and all of the elections that we know, if we find them there, we'll arrest them. So
that's what you mean by the wanted people will be arrested there?
Yes, those who have done
robbery. It's not
robbery.
formal government appointees?
No, they are part of it. Emmanuel Agyabeng, like this, if he goes there, he'll be arrested. Because Emmanuel Agyabeng slapped a police officer and he is under the cover of parliamentary immunity. Akwetia is not parliament. He will be arrested. When a police officer assaulted a journalist, everybody is saying, oh, the police officer should be interdicted, the police officer should be taken to court. A parliamentarian assaulted a police officer, everybody is quiet. How fair are we in this country? That he is walking about and have the effrontery to be talking about violence when the man is a package of violence and terror. In Emmanuel Agyabeng's constituency, when we were doing assembly elections, a journalist, I think your
Banahene,
was assaulted. What has happened to that matter? He used trained officers, soldiers, to assault and terrorize people in his constituency who have done something to him. Emmanuel Agyabeng in 20 December election was using military. Does he work in Ghana Armed Forces? When we went to North by election, he and Gabi were being escorted by the military in that election. Was he a minister? Has Apenyomake ever been a minister?
So are you saying for a fact that he will be arrested at Akwatia?
I'm saying that if I see him there, I'll point him out to be arrested. I can bet, you can take my words for that. So he Nana B that is making the noise. If there's a reason that he is wanted in Akwatia and he will be arrested. If you've committed a crime, you'll be arrested. Some of their ministers that were involved in visa racketeering and all this money laundering thing, they should come. So they are threatening violence. We are very sensible, we will not threaten violence.
I know working with a military person as well is not a crime. So if you had seen Apenyo with security details...
Gabi was not a minister. Apenyomake was not a minister. How did they get military protection? When military has no business in election. I actually saw those military people in the night, and I warned them if they misbehave in that election, we're not going to let go. Lo and behold, they were following Gabi and Apenyomake. Who gave him those military officers? This is the guy talking about violence. So I beg you, we ourselves are not going to use the NPP as a lesson note because they don't deserve it. They've done all the unthinkable. They've been violent. We will not be. But my prayer is that the law should work. Are you not happy that persons who have committed crimes in this country are being put to the law? And I've always told them they are threatening. When hands change, they will deal with Mustapha. They won't be alive because they have done too many sins. God will not allow them the opportunity to come. Because me, I represent all that is righteous. I can sin, I can be wrong, but I stand to be corrected. I will not say anything that somebody have not done. And I'm saying that to free this country, the country must vigorously fight the people who think that they can take all of us for granted. A single individual is given an appointment, he believes there is an opportunity to steal. Any minister of NDC who does that, he should be dealt with. If I do that, I should be dealt with. President Mahama didn't appoint any of us to go and abuse the power that we have, to become criminals. Okay? So anybody who have done that in the NPP should not, if you steal $1 million, do you know how many poor people you have disadvantaged? Do you know how many boreholes you have denied the community? Do you know how many teachers you have denied salary? This is a small country called Ghana. We get so much revenue, and we don't see its impact on in the life of the people. And we sing the songs every day. Politicians come and they steal and they make friends, and it goes round a cycle every day. We must change it at a certain point.
I mean, you've mentioned Egbert Fable of Petroleum Commission and his travels. You mentioned how corrupt Apenyomake and a number of government appointees. And Abi says the people that you are saying are on the wanted list who will be arrested there. He's called your bluff. Says you'll be there. You'll not be arrested.
Nanabi?
Yes.
But I know he will be there. So if you are a national officer and you know you haven't committed a crime, the whole country knows you have not committed a crime. Nobody can hold your liberty. But if he knows in his mind that he has committed some crimes that nobody have talked about yet, and his surfaces, he'll be dealt with. Those who have committed a crime, they know themselves. Those they have used to try to kill others, they know themselves. They know we know them. Those they use to terrorize people in the bush, they know we know them. Those they have used to defraud people all over the place, at the port and in all over the place, seizing their cars and stealing, they know we know them. And the police are looking for those people. Right? So if we can't find you, and there are those who are asking, why would you wait for Akwatia? If you are having to travel all around looking for a suspect, and there's an opportunity where you ransack the suspect, it saves cost. So they will not be violent in Akwatia. I invite Nanabi. If they win, they win. But we win, we win. They will not be violent.
Global Info Analytics says that MPP is currently leading with some 6%.
That's okay. I mean, the ground will determine the end. The election will determine the end.
Are you confident that you'd win?
I have said that nothing will stop us from winning the election. Nothing will stop the NDC. Because what benefit will it be to vote for an MPP candidate to the people of Akwatia? Akwatia is President Nanado's backyard. 45 minutes to his village. You are a president, 8 years. Cumulatively, what is the benefit Eastern region have got? He's refused to develop the place, refused to extend development to the place. He thought about Chebi, a small place. The people have suffered, been denied development for 8 years. A new government have come. You want to prolong their suffering? Ernest Kumi had a very lovable personality, unique one, admired by a lot. Today he is no more. Unfortunately, the deaf is interested in good people than the bad people. Now, if you look at the candidate we elected yesterday, he is a lawyer, okay, by all standards, very educated. Performance in parliament, obviously it's not a celebrity market, it's a place for intellectual demonstration. He fits in that space. He is a constituency secretary. Before his election, he was a constituency secretary of the place. Whether you are NDC or NPP, to be a constituency executive, you resonate with the ground. He is coming from Wenchi. That is the strongest area of the NPP. He is also going to represent those people. You can't keep voting for bad people. So you need someone who will be able to go closer to government. By the grace of God, the Chief of Staff is from Eastern Region. The Minister for Defense is from Eastern Region. The President's legal advisor is from Eastern Region. The Vice President's advisor, Honorable Ofusampofu, who is our national chairman, is from Eastern Region. You need this MP to be able to leverage with these people. Former national chairman. To leverage with these people, to take development to the people in Akotia. So of what use will it be to go and take a man who I don't want to talk about to Parliament?
Nothing will stop the NDC from winning. The threats to arrest certain people, giving the NDC some undue advantage in the election.
What are you talking about undue advantage when nobody is being beaten? But we are looking for criminals. You want criminals to participate in the election. Even in our laws, when you are a criminal, you could not vote. Right or wrong?
Right.
And they are threatening violence. The Akotia people, both NDC and NPP, have lived very peacefully. Why is it that NPP National Executive in Accra are threatening violence when we are more or less going for a funeral?
You are going for a funeral?
Somebody died. They are member of parliament. Our brother died. And we are going there. They are threatening violence. Who does that? Who does that? It doesn't make sense. I mean, the MPP have clearly lost some focus. I think that they need to rebrand and need to rebuild capacity.
They are going into their flag bearership race early next year. Well, we are seeing some data already from Global Info Analytics suggesting some people being the favorites to lead NDC in 2028. Have you seen that data? It puts Sato Forsen, it brings in the chairman, it brings in Julius Debra. Those conversations, are those conversations something that come to you?
My duty as a Deputy General Secretary for the time being is to keep a party that is strong, that to give everyone the opportunity to showcase what they can do. I'm not a campaigner for any of the candidates. What if I also pick a form?
You have interest?
I'm just saying, what if I also pick a form?
Where do you vote?
What,
Which constituency do you vote in?
Oti region.
Oti region.
Yes.
Do you have ambitions of standing as...
No, I'm just saying that executives should do their work and will do so professionally. We want to keep the party very united, very strong. In that objective, we should be able to allow potentials to pop up. It's also a duty, a function of the party executives. It is not my duty to determine who is a preferred candidate because it's not a chief palace or it's not a chieftaincy where you give anybody time. We are going to go to election. And people must be given a level playing field, given the support to do what they can do to leverage on the party to become what they want to become. God has put some objective and visions into everyone. The party is a vehicle, like a pregnant woman, and we are managing that party. Why should I be a campaign candidate for anybody? So I don't want to get into that conversation. It is not also a conversation for any NDC executive. But I am happy that even from where you sit, you can see that they are a litany of potentials who are clean, credible enough to lead this country. So can you say the same thing of the recycle plant at the other side? It's a recycle plant of the same group of people who came together to fleece this country and to perpetuate fraud, schemes, Ponzi schemes. They are the same people. It's just a competition of who did worse and who did less. That is who will emerge. But wait till they all file. Then you see the scandal that will come about them, even from their own party. You see? But you don't use that to build a country. If you are not fit, it's not about popularity in a party, it's about credibility. But you can't say the same of the numbers. If you talk of Atuforsen, he has a record, isn't it? Do you know him to have a record? Smart gentleman. If you talk about Harun Adrusu, smart gentleman, overwhelming. All right? If you talk about the ones you have called, what happened did you call?
Chairman General, that's your...
Yes, that's the father of our party.
Ketia.
He's fathered all of us.
He's also the chief of staff.
He's fathered all of us. The chief of staff is currently the chief of staff to the president. He's the first person who has been a chief of staff for 2 terms. It means that you have handled yourself so well. You can't pinpoint any record of shame and corruption around him. The other candidate, Eric Opoku, I've heard. Eric Opoku, you know him?
Yeah,
a very humble guy. He's currently the agri minister, cleaning the mess that Akufo-Addo have created. So I'm just saying that I'm happy that the party is boasting of potentials. That means that we are building capacity.
In building capacity, you are seeing national executives get positions. When was the last time you were able to attend a party meeting? I mean,
this morning, I'm from Tema. This morning, ask the grassroots. That's why when the people at the top are fighting me, they are wasting their time because I'm always in touch with the people who voted for me. So that is where my strength is coming from. Maybe one day they will say, oh, we don't need him anymore. I'll pack my bag and baggage. But as far as I'm concerned, every day I've committed my life serving this party and ensuring that President Mahama succeeds. At least I'm paying my dues in good faith, in the cleanness of my conscience. I'm doing that. So the position has not also stopped me from saying the truth. The day my principles come to battle with my position, the principles will vitiate my position. Because for me, principles first. So I'm always doing my work. The little as I can contribute. Everybody knows that. So position, President Mahama gave you a position. It's not enough for you not to serve your party. He has rather helped you to split, use the opportunity to serve government in the weekdays. Weekends, you go and do party work. You earn salary. If you were jobless, I was jobless, right? The president has given me some opportunity. I'll make some salary. If I go to the grassroots, I can also take care of the grassroots. That is how to build a country. The NPP people came and they centralized corruption to only few people around Anado and left their whole party. So in election, the 1 million they sent to their candidate, the candidate also took the money and decided to put it in their pocket. They sent things to the grassroots, the candidate also took them and refused to share it to them. That is what happened to them. You see?
A lot has happened in the past 7 months since you took over. Perhaps just this final one about the CJ and her removal process. It's a matter of law. But the recent accusation that has come up seems to suggest President Mahama is interested in another term. Is that true?
If it is lawful, why not? But I don't know that. I don't know that. I'm not too sure. We have a 4 years mandate to deliver. And I'm saying that if we fail, there's no business going to campaign. I won't go. But if we succeed, then we can go back to the people of Ghana and say that, look, you gave us 4 years. We've succeeded. That idea itself was mooted by Apenyo Markins, who is the chief of staff to the Chief Justice. He has a contract at the Judiciary. Are you aware? No. His company. So he's a person who has proprietary interest in shielding the rods at the Judiciary there. If you take double this thing, you are living in a government bungalow and you take rent from government, what does it amount to? Is it not a crime? In a proper, strict jurisdiction, the chief of staff should be at the CID. The Chief Justice. He should be taken through what the ordinary Ghanaian goes through. You award a contract without procurement process. What does it mean in Ghana? For what do you call decoration, the Christmas this thing. And I don't want to mention the person's name. She's done all of these things, and she thinks she can use some other means to. And I will say it every day that the chief of staff is a window President Akufo-Addo placed there to shield his corrupt appointees.
You mean the Chief Justice?
The Chief Justice, yes. That is what he has always represented. And I'll say it every day. I thought, being a woman, she would have brought the flair, the difference that Chief Justice GHOne Wood gave to the people of Ghana. We've had a female Speaker of Parliament before. She extinguished herself. This one didn't. This Chief of Staff didn't acquit herself very well in her position as a Chief Justice, in the interest of the people of Ghana. At the time she was a Chief Justice, the people of Ghana believed that there was no justice in our courts. When there is no justice, then people can commit anything and go scot-free. So you can come and kill me and believe that the system can let you go. So when we advocate for justice, it's not only me, it's for all of us. That is why everything that happened under President Akufo-Addo, you go to court and you lose. See, so I'm against the Chief Justice, but I also believe that she must be taken through the mill, the legal process. Okay, and that is what is happening. If I find anything wrong in the way she's being handled, I'll talk about it, but I think that she's even being given the best treatment.
Mustapha Gbande, thank you so much for having this conversation with me.
Grateful.
I've just spoken to the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC and as well a Deputy Director for Operation at the Presidency. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. Many thanks for the time.